Hello, I'm FKX Toycat, and have you ever wondered which came first, the chicken or the egg? This is something you can debate about forever in the real world, but in Minecraft, a definitive, easy to explain space, there is one correct answer, and that is the fact that the chicken comes first because the chicken has to spawn in for an egg to drop from it. This is a revolutionary game-changing fact because it makes you realize and question, what if every single one of life's unanswered questions is answerable through Minecraft? And that is exactly what we're going through today, all of the biggest questions you've ever wondered, and they're going to be answered officially, practically, and forever via Minecraft. And let's start by talking about one of the first ones. This is a dumb one you see in posters everywhere, but if you expect the unexpected, doesn't that make the unexpected expected? Desert and jungle temples both prove that unexpected traps over a long enough period of time just become expected traps. I mean, every single time I go into a jungle temple, I entirely expect the unexpected arrow trap. When I go into a desert temple, I expect the unexpected TNT trap, and I even actually take it for my own purposes. So yes, if you expect the unexpected well enough, it does in fact just become expected. So what happens when we die, I hear you asking? This is one of life's biggest questions, but again, definitively answerable in Minecraft, because when you die, a menu screen comes up asking if you want to respawn, but without your items, or you can leave the game forever. This therefore also answers another big question we're coming to terms with as humanity, because is there a life after death? Yes, except when you're playing on hardcore difficulty. Real life is on hardcore difficulty. So, which orange came first? The fruit or the color? There are no oranges in Minecraft, so clearly it's the color that came first. Although this isn't a very good question because it's actually really well known in real life the fruit came first, but leaving that to the side, in Minecraft there is an orange dye, there is orange colored things, but there is no orange, so the color came first before the fruit did, at least in Minecraft. So that might seem inconsequential compared to our next one, because what is love? It's a mode we enter when we're fed our favorite foods, of course, and it makes us want to produce more of ourselves. What is the universal language? Punching. One day, we might have an update that allows us to universally communicate, but it will cost money to use, and most people will probably hate it. So, punching is the one universal language that everyone can understand. What is the difference between living and existing though? Because things that exist count as blocks, and things that are alive count as entities and cause more lag. If you cause lag, you are an entity and therefore you are alive. If you don't cause lag, you must be a block. Easy explanation right there. Is there a god though? Is there a greater being? And if so, what is their nature? So the only way to know for sure if there's a god is to interpret the scriptures, of course, but who wrote the scriptures is a valid question, and the answer is we don't really know, except actually, of course we do exactly know. There is one person who wrote the scriptures for Minecraft. Julian Gao is the person who wrote the thing we know as the end scripture, and if we can interpret that willingly, it tells us that there is a god, that God is inside of us all, but that God is something that wants us to live in a world where we don't know about God. If we can quote the end poem directly, they say it would be so easy to tell them, but it's too strong for this dream. To tell them how to live is to prevent them from living. If there is a greater figure, it wants us to live in a world filled with the muddles, filled with the unknowns of the world, filled with the quite literal, unintelligible thoughts that we can't know about until we've discovered more, because it wants us to learn how to live for ourselves. It wants us to be able to make decisions about who we are and what we decide to be and what we decide to do for ourselves. To quote the game directly, the universe said, "You are the universe tasting itself, talking to itself, reading its own code." And the universe says, "I love you because you are love." And the game was over, and the player woke up from the dream, and the player began a new dream, and the player dreamed again, dreamed better, and the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player. Wake up. And the choice about being a player in this universe, the choice about choosing to wake up, the choice about how much you even interpret about the universe is entirely down to you. This is the only question where in Minecraft, like in real life, there is no definitive answer. It's all down to what you would like there to be, and that's the most important thing. What allows you to make the best of your dreams, of your worlds, of your life. So, are we alone in the universe? No. Wandering traders have been there first. And in fact, based on abandoned mine shafts, there was a civilization before even them, and based on the fact that there is a stronghold which has some eye offenders already pre-filled, there are other players exactly like us who have tried and failed to do what we have done before. There is likely an untellably long history of people who have been here before us. But we don't know about it because they are not us, and we are, hopefully, better than them. Is suicide justifiable? Only if you have your items stored in an ender chest and you want to go back to your spawn position. Even then, it's probably best as a last resort rather than a first one, and again, the benefits are pretty low, but the downside can be pretty darn high. What is the meaning of life? There is no purpose, you can do anything you want, and as long as you're happy with it, it's an equally valid way to spend time. Want to chop down trees? Want to build a house? Want to make a blue ice pathway across the world? You can do any of those things, and as long as you enjoy them, that is an important thing. Why do people hurt each other though? Usually it's because they think it will help them win the game, or just to annoy each other, whichever comes first. Is it better to be a big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond? Well, as it turns out, at least in the Bedrock edition, there are fish that have multiple sizes, and it affects them none in the slightest, so the size of the fish, or the size of the pond, does not affect their behavior. The only thing that can change is how you look at that fish and that pond in relation to each other. You ever consider that? Maybe the fish or the pond don't care about their sizes. Maybe it's only you that care about their sizes. But more importantly, is time travel possible? No, not without cheating. You have to cheat and reload old saves, which makes it possible, but only if you break the rules that underpin the entire concept anyway, and at which point is that not really even the same concept. Is it possible for a human to fathom the true depths of reality and existence? And you can only ever understand as much as you can understand. The truth is that videos like this will only ever scratch the surface of everything about life, but the point is that all learning and knowledge comes from within. The thing that you learn, if nothing more than from a game that you're playing in a first-person perspective, is that you can pick up all these different things, and you are the one that chooses what impact you have on the world around you. Do you want to make the world around you a better place? Do you want to just exist in the world around you and be a neutral bystander and see the beauty that comes from within it? Or do you want to actively hurt it? These are all choices you get to make, and although we can sit here and criticize each other's choices, and we all totally do it all the time, the truth is there is no inherent value to any of these, which means even if I dive into a deeper part of the game, or you see someone dive into something which seems much more inherently big than you do, you find entirely new parts of it, the truth is those things only matter as much as you want them to mean to matter, because we are masters of our own destiny. We are the only animal in the entire Minecraft world, besides wandering traders, that get to decide what we want to do. A sheep eats grass, and the sheep will breed with another animal when given wheat. That is what a sheep does, and then you can share it for wool. But that is the choices a sheep has available to it. You have the choice about which dimension you want to be in. You have the choice about whether you want to make yourself a house, or make yourself a village, make yourself a skyscraper, or make yourself a giant golden penis. And the truth is, you get to make those things. You get to have that impact on the world in its purest form. You might think that it's muddy and not a true analogy to the real world. You might think that looking at Minecraft to make all of these little points is actually kind of dumb, because of course they don't have an analogy, and yeah, they only have as much of a meaning, they only have as much of a link as you want them to have. You are totally in control of how much it does or does not matter, but the links that you make, the analogies you can draw, the data that your brain can process from these things, that is the most important thing. Even if you move forward your understanding of the world by just a tiny bit with every video that you watch, or with just every day that you live in your life, the fact is you'll move closer to understanding what are those blurred out words in the end poem. I still really want to know, and I never will know, but maybe you will one day, maybe I will one day. That is something we can all work out together. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You can like it if you did like it, share if you really liked it, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.